Cindy reckons she'd have no problem overeating steak if only I'd let her. Sorry, Cindy, it's not going to happen. Of course, most people couldn't overeat steak even if they wanted to because they couldn't afford to. Steak is rather expensive, so only the wealthy could eat it for every meal. But even if you had the money and the fortitude to handle the monotony of eating only steak for every meal, it still wouldn't be a good idea. High red meat consumption is associated with an increased risk of a number of different cancers, including breast cancer, endometrial cancer, colorectal cancer, lung cancer, and liver cancer. High red meat consumption is associated with an increased risk of cardiovascular disease and diabetes. High red meat consumption is associated with an increased risk of bone fracture in women. High red meat consumption, particularly unprocessed red meat like steak, for instance, is associated with an increased risk of diverticulitis. High red meat consumption is associated with an increased risk of pancreatitis. Red meat is also low in a number of essential nutrients, including vitamin C and folate. And it contains no fibre whatsoever, which not only further increases your risk of the various conditions we've just looked at, it also increases your risk of constipation and hemorrhoids, neither of which sound like a lot of fun. But what about all the anecdotes from people saying they feel great on carnivore diets? A lot of people also feel great after having a cigarette. It doesn't mean cigarettes aren't detrimental to your health in the long term. And just because you feel great short term on a carnivore diet, it doesn't mean it's not going to be detrimental to your health in the long term.